Welcome back everybody to my Deity Masterclass. Now you might already have seen the videos I've put up on industrial zone placement and yields and adjacencies and everything to do with that. We played as Rome and we went through everything to do with aqueducts, canals, dams and the placements between. Now I meant those videos to be a very generic example of what to do with industrial zones across the average game of Civ with the average Civ. The idea being that I didn't want the actual Civ selection to change how you should go about putting industrial zones down. Now, as was quite rightly pointed out several times, of course when it comes to industrial zones there is only one master, and that is our Ginger Ninja friend. It is Mr. Frederick Barbarossa of Germany. Now Germany are absolutely fantastic at industrial zone placement and are consistently rated to be one of the best Civs in Civ 6, even from the initial, placement of them into the base game. They have consistently been pretty much the best, if not one of the best Civs at turtling. They call it SimCity games, where pretty much you sit back peacefully and you just, enjoy yourselves, but equally they're also very good at expansion into city-states, they're very good at war, but we're going to be specifically talking about industrial zones. Now if you remember, industrial zones have a few different adjacencies that we need to consider, mainly the major adjacencies, the +2 production from aqueducts, baths, canals, dams. They also have extra things to do with government plaza, standard adjacency there, from quarries as well, and from each adjacent strategic resource, as well as having 2 for every adjacent districts, mines, or lumber mills. If you haven't seen the Roman videos, I would recommend you go and have a look at that. The Hanza is better. The Hanza takes half the time to build, and it has a slightly different adjacency set. Gone is any adjacency bonus to do with lumber mills, mines, or strategic resources, and replaced are 2 things. Firstly, a flat +1 standard adjacency for every adjacent resource, which we're not really going to be talking about today. That's almost a bit of a backup. And this, +2 production from each adjacent commercial hub tile. That's right, a commercial hub acts as an aqueduct, a canal, or a dam when it comes to the placement of these things. And don't forget, you also get that +1 production for every 2 adjacent districts. Now, combined the unique Hanza with the 3 imperial cities' ability to have more than one more district than usual in each city, Germany is an absolute champ at building insane industrial zones, and we're going to be discussing how to do that. Now, I am on turn 366. For the purposes of showing you this, I am playing on a later game speed. One of the things I'm not really going to be talking about is how quick Hanzas are to build. Yep, they're really, really quick, they're really, really fantastic. What we're going to be talking about specifically today is adjacencies. Now, the one thing that you might find when it comes to building aqueducts, which mainly are the buildings we're going to be using, and commercial hubs, is that there are some things that block placement, such as antiquity sites, revealed luxury resources, and revealed strategic resources. Now, I've got a pretty strategic-less start. We actually have unlocked a lot of the map here on the start that I'm on, so I should see everything up to oil and aluminium. But you can see I really don't have much going on, so from that point of view there is very little to get in my way. But what I will be doing is just settling on top of this marble. The joy about settling on top of luxuries is that that no longer will interrupt the placement of the district. I can kind of, I've now got that placement, that's all fine, and we can work around it. Now, often one of the things that people do with city placement is to shove cities really closely together in order to get incredible adjacencies going. Germany does this really, really well. You want cities bunched up, but that doesn't mean you should cover the map in as many cities as possible. Ideally, you do want to give a city as many 2nd and 3rd ring tiles as possible to work all of the land around them. That's all fine. But what you do need to do is pack into sort of like a central district placement as many cities as you can to sort of get everybody in the same place. So what I tend to do is, once you've got a bit of a city and then a bit of flat land, is you want to put a central industrial zone down. Detailed map tags. Come to Discord, I keep a load of mods in. They're all just user interface mods and description mods. You can download these if you're using Civ. I mean, people always ask, just come to Discord, I keep a full list. Now, once you've got this central point, which is 2 tiles away, and it's 2 tiles, because of course an aqueduct can get put down. It's always worth just double checking the aqueducts, because sometimes they can have some funny rules on placement, but as you can see, that aqueduct is plenty fine. The idea then is to build a star of cities around it. The idea being that I've now got 3 cities in a close area, and then I can pop aqueducts around them. Now, you may be saying, Ryan, you can't put an aqueduct there. Yep, that's absolutely right. Not all placement is perfect, so we'll have to get rid of that one for now. But as you can see, the map is more complicated than that. You will know quite well that there are more districts in this game than aqueducts. We have other things we can place, such as a delightful dam tile here, which is really, really cool. I think that looks like a canal in this direction as well, over to the sea. Again, very nice. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send a lot of my units out just to go and explore a little bit. See if we can't uncover some of the map. Give myself just a little bit of visibility, just a little bit to play with. I'm also going to go communism. This is a late game strategy with Germany, but Germany worked really well with communism, and I'll show you why later. Hint, has everything to do with collectivization. 5-year plan is going to be your God card as well. You also want to keep an eye on this card as well, Science Foundations. Just trust me when I say that 2 engineer points for every factory and 4 for every power plant is going to come in very handy later in the game. So actually there is an option to do something slightly different here. Normally I'd go for this sort of just little trifecta, but you have to be a little bit sort of creative. What I could do is I could shove this guy down to the oil, settle on top of that, and then canal over. And that means I could then move this city down a little bit in order to just sort of enjoy a little bit more placement, swap an aqueduct around with other bits and pieces. In fact, look, this is what it's going to look like. So by doing that, I can actually take advantage of the coast and go for 2 different canals, a dam over here, and then possibly an aqueduct into that direction, although that doesn't look like a valid placement of an aqueduct, so we'll have to stick it over here, but that's fine. I can also put a city up here and join in later, but anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Look, we've got a lovely aqueduct placements, we've got a dam, we've got canals. This is the first Hanza, but we can put a few others in here in order to just really enjoy some of the placements of the central areas. Now, the trick with Hanzas is you kind of want to keep them 2 tiles away from each other if possible, so that they really start to stack up on district placement. So hang on, if I just take, so we've got one here that's just connected up to 2 very useful districts. We've got this one, which is connected up to 2 useful districts as well. And then we've got this third one over here. Now already we've got 7, 6 and 5 adjacencies, but this is where we throw in the next level of fun. Like this city, for instance, over here, can slap a commercial hub down, which suddenly gives even more industry adjacency. I could also then use this city to put a commercial hub down on that front. Suddenly we're up to plus 11 on this city, and then Aachen is going to enjoy itself and slap down another commercial hub. Now the trick I could do is actually by putting Aachen's one on this tile, which creates a plus 12, and then using this city to put the commercial hub down there. That creates what we call the perfect 15. This is what Germany can do, a 15 adjacency industrial zone. Now why is that important? That's important because that will get quadrupled. The reason being is you're going to get 15 production from that industrial zone. That will then get doubled by either the 5-year plan card, or if you're a little earlier in the game, the guilds card over here, which gives you craftsmen. So that's 30 adjacency, 30 industry. After that point, you then go to industrialization and pick up the coal power plant, which, as we've discussed before, gives bonus production equal to the adjacency. That would be a plus 30 power plant. That's ignoring the factory, which gives 6 production, and the workshop, which gives another 3. So this industrial zone will be 60 production plus 9, a 69 production in zone. I mean, that's pretty damn cool. Anyway, let me show you what this looks like in practice. With Germany, I'd always recommend stacking up on Pingala, because Pingala's great people points is fantastic when you've got the extra districts to play with, but also it's worth having a Magnus at all times just to get provision. But we're also going to go for surplus logistics. I'll show you why that's really important later, and industrialist as well. Rain is always a good third choice as well, because you can get Harbour Master, which doubles the adjacency from commercial hubs. Very useful for Germany. And yes, I know we're playing on a later game speed, but if you've got to put a district down on a tile that needs harvesting, make sure you're getting a builder when you do it, because then at least you chop the builder and you've got another one coming through. Like, I hate it. I hate it when people waste production like that. And eventually, you should get something that looks a little bit like this. So as you can see, I've had to mix my borders up a little bit to make sure this works. And this is probably the one thing that's going to confuse most people. Like, I probably could have got Aachen to make this commercial hub and Frankfurt to make this one. I was very close to mucking that up for myself. But look, we have a plus 9, a plus 10, a plus 8, and the glorious plus 15. Now, these mean that my cities already have crazy production. 34, 29, 35, and the capital has 65, which is nuts. It is absolutely nuts, but we can go higher than that. We can go higher. Once I start building the factories, now the factories are going to be the most important thing for me to build at the beginning of the game. So with the factory down, you can now see that I'm sending production to all of the cities. The good thing about having them all star-shaped like this is that the factories will massively sort of benefit each other. But you can now see, here we go in Aachen, coal power plant, plus 30 production. There we go. So if we do that, we should find that this becomes quite comic. And here it is, 112 production. If we have a look at this, 30 production from districts, and then 38 from buildings. I've got 30 from the power plant, 3 from the factory, 3 from the workshop, and 2 from the palace. You may also notice the building is not powered, and I have no coal. This is something that is often misinterpreted about how the coal power plants worked, and I should point this out. The additional bonus production equal to the adjacency production bonus of the district, aka the plus 30, because it's doubled, it's not plus 15, it's plus 30, does not require power. That is something that does not require electricity. The factory gives plus 3 and then plus 3 if it's powered. That does require electricity, but the coal power plant does not. So there's no reason not to build coal power if you know that you're going to get the production bonus. It doesn't even matter if you've got coal. Really doesn't matter. Now, one thing I can never emphasize enough about Civ is just how important entertainment complexes are as well. You need those amenities. If you've ever got a spare district, you're not entirely sure what to do with it, build one of those. Even in Hamburg, the worst industrial zone I've got by far, because it's only a plus 8, which gives me 16, the coal power plant is still giving 16 production. Very worth picking up. It's also worth pointing out, if you're not sure what to do, especially with desert tiles and you've got spare districts, encampments work fantastically with Germany, because those military encampments, which let you build armies and corps, stacks amazingly with the production in your cities. Just trust me on that. So there we have it. 4 cities. We've got 138 production in this one, 69, nice, in Frankfurt, 76 in Cologne, and 72 in Hamburg. To put that in perspective, 72 production is enough to build wonders in 15 turns on standard speed. Now that's really, really quick. Often though, it's incredibly easy to find yourself happy with what you've got. If there's space, you should be settling it, and you should be looking for other ways that you can make use of this amazing little city cluster placement. Again, sometimes just single cities can produce amazing results. This one desert city can produce a plus 9 Hanza with 2 canals and a commercial hub. You could even replace that canal with an aqueduct if so chose, but I always like the idea of canals. I often see comments as well saying, oh yeah, but Ryan, canals are really expensive and difficult to beat. Well, that's kind of the point of these military encampments. You build military engineers, you shuttle them over to your cities and you rush them. Easy to do. You're also looking at floodplains. If you can get your hands on some floodplains, you can get some dams, and dams are like 3 districts essentially to do whatever you want with. Like just with the addition of 1 dam, I can put 2 cities here and go aqueduct, 2 Hanzas, 2 commercial hubs for a plus 10 and a plus 9. And look how just adding 1 more city to the mix means that I can just make myself even more impressive displays of just stuff. Look at this, there's another plus 8 there, combining to another commercial hub means that that's another plus 11. And up here, which pretty much just looks like a wasteland of water, you can create a lovely little complex of Hanzas up in this area, and then another couple of plus 9s down here just with a little bit of interaction in that area. I mean, there are some wonderful areas. In fact, actually, this could be improved even further by putting a Hanza there. Actually, nope, scrapping that, maybe putting the Hanza on that tile, or the Hanza on this tile. I think that's the one I wanted, and then going for a commercial hub there. So that would be a plus 5. So I've sacrificed a little bit up here, but I've now turned that into a plus 10. Oh, this is the best thing about the tutorials. Now it's like, and now I get to make it. I mean, look at Aachen, 152 production. Yes, I am just going to build a tank army in 5 turns. I think that sounds lovely. Oh, that wonderful feeling of just like settling multiple cities and covering all the territory. Oh, you love it. You love it. I love playing on higher speed sometimes. As I say, I'm doing this not because this is what I play on, but this is just a really good opportunity to kind of show you guys stuff quickly. if that sort of makes sense. Hang on, we'll just swap these two around. What I like to do is I'll go Hanza in there, we'll go the commercial hub there. I'll just make sure they both get plopped down. This one was going to be an aqueduct, so I'll just quickly pop that in there. We'll rush that through as well. And then we'll go and work that. And look, suddenly all this is already done. I just realised I can build a canal here. That makes this industrial zone, which was a +9, even better. Oh, ridiculous. I mean, look at this city. This city is right on the edge here and should, by all rights, be absolutely naff. But it's not going to be. It's going to genuinely be incredibly useful once it gets going. If I just, again, I'm just sort of dropping all of the districts down. You do that nice thing. Germany can always do this, especially if you've got Hic Sonc Dracones, the ability, because you'll have more population, and Germany's always really good at plopping multiple districts down at the same time anyway. I mean, look at this. Coal power plant, 18 production. Yes, thank you. 18 production in this one as well. 22 production in this city. And already I'm producing 60 engineer points per turn. Don't forget the policy card I mentioned before with two engineer points for every factory and 4 from every power plant. That means I'm getting 1 from the district, 1 from the workshop, 1 from the factory, 1 for the power plant. That's 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 points per city. That's pretty damn good. 20 production on this one. And there you have it. One of the most deliciously perfect little German settlements that I've built in a training video ever. Now, it may be that you're thinking, Ursa, you went on about the fact that you're not gonna, squish cities in. Well, I kind of haven't, and this is kind of what I'm getting at here. What I'm doing is I'm sort of grouping cities together in chunks. You've got chunk alpha of these 4 cities that all have the districts in this sort of middle bit here. You've got chunk delta, which is kind of these 3 cities where I've chunked all those districts together. And then you've got chunk omega, because, screw the other letters, where I've gone all kind of in this area, and then I've got this little independent city down here. But generally speaking, I've left as much space as possible between the chunks. Now, I've got a lot of culture. I've got 230 coming in per turn, which is why my borders are quite rapid. But you can actually see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles between those cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got this nice spacious bit between my cities, and that means I've got enough tiles to work. Now, I've been rushing this through, so I haven't really improved every tile, but you can see how effective this is when we have a look at the yields tree. If I sort this per production, you'll see that Ulm, my worst city, has 38 production. I believe that's because I need to actually just get the coal power plant in. Yep, perfect. So let's just quickly get that one done, 55. That's really good. Okay, so if I go back to the old yield tree, you'll now see 55, 66, 69, 69, 78, 84, 92, 98, 106, 135, and 164. That is the power of the industrial zone. I cannot tell you how important it is. Look at that, 30 from a district. This was perfect. This is the perfect industrial zone for Germany. Surrounded by 6 districts that give +2, and then it has the +3 from being surrounded by all the districts. That is just insane. And I'm building the Estadio de Maracana in 6 turns. That's how quick this is. That is how quick this is, and I haven't even boosted the wonder building card. I mean, I could really get this going quicker, but yeah, that is Germany. If you play around with them, this is why Germany is so strong. Not only this, but you can also get tons and tons of districts down. You can see I've been having some fun building some theatre square combos. I got a +10 and a +7 here. That's been quite entertaining. I've been working, again, like down here, I've got a nice +6 between some entertainment or water parks. I've got one down here, which is a nice +4. I haven't really been bothering with science at all, and I've already got 110 science per turn. So, yeah. This is the trick. Focus on industrial zones and you'll find that you have the production to kind of do whatever you want, but don't leave space. Don't leave space. This was a terrible little city just on the edge, and that's giving me 69 production per turn. This thing could produce for me destroyers in 8 turns. 4 turns with the policy card in, and twice as much if you've got the Venetian Arsenal, so it's worth it. Why would you not build it? And finally, a very special shout out goes to Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Matthew Wilkinson, Salty Tech, The Broccoli, Midnight Oil, and Truffadaskby for all of your support on Patreon. Thank you everybody for all of your support generally. It is brilliant. See you in my next video.